too fast. So, yeah, I will start with a small intro. Let's see. Hopefully the sound is coming. Kommt gleich.
In the digital realm, two heroes stand tall: Sir Robot Framework, the guardian of automation, and Lady Gherkin, the storyteller of behaviors. United in purpose, they embark on a quest to transform the landscape of software testing. Sir Robot, with his shield of keywords, cuts through the complexity of code, bringing order and precision to the chaos of testing. Lady Gherkin, wielding her quill of natural language, sketches scenarios that bridge minds and machines. Their alliance marks the dawn of a new era in testing a world where code comes to life through stories, and every test scenario is a shared adventure. As we set sail on this journey, our heroes invite us to ponder a curious question that challenges the very core of our quest. Do robots dream of pickled cucumbers?
Yeah, this was one of this evening where I'm alone at home. And maybe some of you nerds know it. Yeah, let's talk about a little bit how was my quest to come to an integration with Gherkin and Robot Framework. So let's start a little bit. I thought after I heard the voice, okay, this is really an interesting question. Let's think about it. So, but before, I want to know, do you know cucumber or gherkin? Raise your hand. Do you use it in your projects? Yeah? Do you like it? No? Why not? It's one question. I like it, but it's not really well integrated in my normal work. So I start thinking about it. For those who doesn't know Gherkin and this writing, how it looks like, I try to show it. So first start with a small question, I don't know what it is. So say, as a developer, I want to use Gherkin with Robot Framework. So that I can, that's my thoughts about it, so that I can improve the clarity, efficiency, accessibility, and flexibility of my testing process. But let's be a little bit more general. As a development team and testing team, we want to use it. This is maybe something like, it looks like a feature that I can define to develop an application before I start to write something. Let's think about it, what I want to do with this. What can be a scenario why I want to do this. So let's define a scenario. Okay, let's look at the first things. Increase testing efficiency with direct automation. That's my thing with Robot Framework, because Robot Framework, I write a test case, I have my libraries, I click on the play button and it's running. It's not really possible with the standard Gherkin cucumbers automations. So I think this should be a main scenario to test it. So I write, given a behavior-driven specification, when it's executed through robot framework, the test should run automatically without manual translation to RF syntax. We know robot framework has these given when then prefixes. You can write keywords with embedded variables and so on, but it looks different. And you have technical information in your test script. You need to import libraries, resources, and such things. So that is one thing I have in my mind. And when I click on the run button, the test should be executed. This is my first thing. And this is how a Cucumber Gherkin style test case looks like. So very simple, no technical information in there. It describes not the steps, what I want to do to test the application, it describes the behavior. Given is something like what is in the application, what's the actual state, and then I stimulate my application or whatever, my test object, and then I expect something that has happened. Very easy. So let's look at another scenario. The thing is, this is really natural, human readable format. And all stakeholders in the project, regardless of it's a requirements engineer or the testers or the developers, can read this without technical information. So that's why I like it too. Next one. Okay, sounds good. Next one. Non-technical team members can review these tests. If you have a robot framework script, it is sometimes not really possible. They didn't understand the concept of keywords and such things. So that's another good scenario. A little bit more here. Robot Framework has a large ecosystem. We have browser library, we have database library, we have libraries for embedded tests, and let's think about, we have an application that uses all these technologies. With Robot Framework, we have one testing framework where we can test all these technologies. But in Gherkin and the most common implementations, not really. So, that's another point. I think another thing, important thing is, that's my experience with Robot Framework, with a little training, also not so technical testers can write robot framework test cases and can implement Gherkin steps. So we have shifted the doings a little bit more to the testers and not to the developers. So that's another form of writing a scenario. We write a scenario outline and give examples that we can. This is a variable here, something like a variable, a placeholder for every line in this example. So it's very easy to write. Why not use it in Robot Framework? So, still sounds good. But maybe someone, most of you heard of me, I'm also the developer of Robotcode, of the extension for VS Code to write robot framework test cases. Who knows it? Raise your hands. Who used it? No, not so many. So that's the next thing I have in mind. Only the Gherkin parser, it's not enough. We need support from our IDE to write its test cases. We need maybe something like a syntax highlighting in your IDE. We need a click a run button. We need maybe refactoring of keyword steps and such things. So I can imagine that robot dream of pickled cucumbers, but maybe otherwise too. So I start by implementing a proof of concept. Maybe some history at this time. I started this evening was sometimes in the late 2020. I posted on a Slack channel and a big discussion starts. So let's go to the RoboCon, and I talked in a lightning talk, a short form of this. What's the idea? And in the community day before, we create something like a PR for a custom external parser API for robot framework, so that I can implement something like a Gherkin parser. So in the summer 2023, Robot Framework 6.1 came out with the external parser API. And then there was a call for proposals from the Robot Framework ecosystems. I've submitted the proposal to implement this Gherkin parser, and it was accepted. So, but you see, this is a long time, half a year maybe. And then comes the end of 2023, so, and I have not started. So my employer is giving me some time to really get going with the implementation. Robot Framework 7 is coming. Another big changes Robotcode needs to be done, because there are a lot of internal change. So, okay. But last week I published the first version of the Gherkin parser. This whole time frame is not only because that is not faster with the robot framework and such things, but it's an open source project, and I have my normal work to do. And I have families with 3 kids, and it's very difficult sometimes to get together these things. So, let's get back to our first scenario. Just to look, I want to write a feature file and want to execute it in Robot Framework. Some demo time. That's why I bring my own computer with. So I need to switch to the other ones. I switch the monitor to so now you should see this one. So, okay, you see VS Code, and the mouse is not working. So, but this is also not working. I forget the mouse. So I start with an empty project. Did you see something? Yes? Okay. I make it a little bit bigger. So started an empty project, create a Python environment, you know it maybe, install some requirements. I installed Robot Framework 7. It's the version that is required for the Gherkin parser because of the new Listener API for version 3. I use this. And such little bit tidy things. So, to enable the Gherkin parser in VS Code with Robotcode, you create a little small robotoml file. About this robotoml file, I make a tutorial at the online version. Maybe you will come. Then let's start. The normal way to create this is create a new folder called features, create a feature file, and write a feature. And you see there are run buttons. So we can execute this directly, but there is no keyword with a given name here found. So I will just switch to the other one, and this is the same here. Now I have implemented a calculator resource. This is the keyword. You know it from Robot Framework. I have entered a number into the calculator, and this is my scenario, and then I just click run. And it's green. Steps are executed, and the correct result is shown. So this is the simplicity of the integration into Robotcode and the Gherkin parser. I did not have the time to show everything, but just a short example with the login feature, just to show it. So this is a background story where I need to create some users, and then I have to check the simple the login functionality, and here we have an example, and we have here on this button for every line in the example sections a separate test to execute. So then I think we can go back to this one and to this one. You see? Okay. Good. What's the current working state? All features of the Gherkin language are supported. See Cucumber IO for the docs. For this, we can implement robot keywords, steps as robot keywords, and we can also implement Python keywords for the steps. We can use the hooks, it's also defined. We have, at the moment, simple syntax highlighting, formatting feature files. We can run and debug these Gherkin files. It's not possible in other implementations, so that's a point that is only running in Robot Framework with Gherkin. We have a simple analysis of wrong syntax, but there's much more coming. Step syntax, syntax completion, whole ring, show documentation, like you know it from the normal Robot Code plugin for Robot Framework files. And more documentation, more examples, and if you have any ideas, here's some links, the GitHub repo, Visual Studio Code extension, and the PyPy for the Gherkin parser. Disclaimer, it's a very early stage. You can use it, you can try it, but maybe there are some errors. But this is the important thing now. It's your time. It's your turn. It's an open project, open source project, and it drives to its community. This is the really important. So use it, try it. provide PRs, provide ideas, provide issues, enhancement and such things. Contribute code, start on GitHub, on Marketplace, and spread the word around the world about this. Maybe we need some new icons if there are some designers. So, after these first steps, I think it's true. Robots dream of pickled cucumbers, and Gherkins also dreams of robots. Wait, I hear the voice again.
In the heart of the digital realm, a revelation dawns. Robots dream of Gherkins, and Gherkins of robots. Together, Sir Robot Framework and Lady Gherkin weave a tapestry of tests that are more than code. Their stories, alive with purpose and clarity. Their journey reveals a magic key, unity. By blending the logic of Robot Framework with the lore of Gherkin, they unlock a new testing era. Here, every scenario is an adventure, every test a shared dream brought to life. As their tale concludes, a truth emerges. When automation meets narrative, the impossible becomes possible. Let's step into this enchanted future, where our creations are not just built, but imagined, where every line of code whispers a story. Together, in this realm of wonder, we realize the dream that robots and Gherkins dared to dream, a world transformed by the magic of their unity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Excellent talk. There's your hoodie. Any questions for Daniel? Bunch of questions back there, at least.
Thank you. So in some frameworks, like Cucumber SpecFlow, we need to set up a file that points to this is where to find the test cases, the feature files, and this is the folder where you can find the test steps, the step definition files. Is there some sort of config in this setup, please?
Yes, there's something like this, but it also works like other frameworks. There must be a step folder beneath the feature file, and everything under this step folder, you can use it in your feature files.
There's another question there.
Hello. Thank you very much for making this. I'm actually using the Gherkin syntax in my project, and this is a really good feature. One question I have regarding the output files. What format are they? Are they similar to Cucumber? Because
No.
I would like to push them to the Jira X-ray plugin, and it automatically detects steps and so on.
Yeah.
So
It is the current Robot Framework output. So it comes the same log file as you execute normal Robot Framework, but there are some enhancement requests for the new, or ideas for a new output format for Robot Framework. And then we can maybe create a new format for Gherkin files for the output. But because of the open output format from Robot Framework, you have the log file and such things, you can easily import your results in whatever.
We have time for 2 more questions, if any. Let's check the Slido. There's one. Wouldn't it be good to have this natively supported in maybe Robot Framework 7.1 if Robot Framework now also supports JSON structure of test cases?
I don't know if it's maybe a question to Pekka. I think it is a good idea to create this API for bringing new language styles to Robot Framework. And I think Pekka has enough to do with the core Robot Framework, and then we can provide more languages That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but I think it can be discussed.
Yeah. So Pressure Pekka is the answer. One last question from there.
I thank you for your presentation, and I love your VS Code extension. And yeah, it's a good thing. I love it. But you're doing this alone. What would you need most to speed up your project and develop it, except time from and money from your company? But what is that you need?
Yeah.
Better icons.
Yeah, better icons. Yeah, maybe you know it. I'm a developer. I didn't like write documentation. This is one point. But I think I've made a big refactoring in the Robotcode internals to bring a new language to Robotcode. This is one part. And maybe there are some people who knows a lot more Python code. Maybe I need some more Python programmers to implement these features for syntax highlighting and such things, because this is done in Python. So, if you want.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Show some love for Daniel Biehl.